So now there's a new Robitussin pediatric cough suppressant, formulated just for kids. The long-lasting cough medicine with a great cherry taste, from the brand more doctors and pharmacists recommend. And since Robitussin pediatric gives such effective cough relief, both the patient and the doctor can rest comfortably. New Robitussin pediatric cough suppressant, recommended by Dr. Mom.
You're watching WSTM, Channel 3 in Syracuse. And now, John Nicholson, meteorologist Wayne Mohar, and Roger Springfield on sports. This is Channel 3 News Nightcast, in touch with Central New York.
They are getting organized. Are they against older people? They say, no, that's not the problem. Good evening. It's a neighborhood near Syracuse University faced with a senior citizen housing project being proposed, and many people there in that neighborhood say, no way. They had a meeting tonight. Nightcast reporter Betsy Sykes was there. Betsy?
John, fighting new developments is nothing new for people who live near Manley Fieldhouse. This latest fight involves a proposed senior citizen housing complex some people view as an unwelcome addition to the neighborhood. These people are planning a strategy to fight new development in their neighborhood. They live near Syracuse University in the area of Thurber Street. Apartment complexes are popping up all over the neighborhood, and people who own homes here are saying enough is enough.
They have been chipping away at the A1 residential property in this neighborhood, and the neighborhood is very overcrowded, and the roads are not adequate for the traffic.
The latest fight involves a proposed low-income apartment complex for senior citizens, 24 apartments to be built here behind St. Andrew's Church. Right in back of me is where Christopher Community wants to put the housing. Now, supporters of the project say our graying population needs clean, modern, affordable housing. Opponents of the project say it's not senior housing they object to, but rather putting it in what they claim is an already overdeveloped neighborhood.
Anywhere that there's an acre of land, they're not going to leave us alone until it's got a high-rise or something on it.
Peter White is with Christopher Community, the nonprofit group that wants to build the complex.
The neighborhood is developed, there's no doubt about it, but I think the size of the project and the amount of land we're asking St. Andrews for would not be a detriment. Tremendous need for senior housing in the city of Syracuse. We have waiting lists at other buildings that go back as long as 7 to 10 years, people trying to get into affordable housing.
Tomorrow night, many of the people who live in the Thurber Street area will be back for yet another meeting. This one will involve people from the Christopher Community and St. Andrew's Church.
Now, we've heard St. Andrew's mentioned. We know it's right there. What role does St. Andrew's Church and the directors of the church, what role does that play?
The church owns the land that Christopher Community wants to build on, so it's up to the parish council to decide whether or not to sell the land to Christopher Community, and they'll make that decision next Monday night.
And the people are putting the pressure, therefore, on the parish council.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Betsy. Now, in just a few hours, some other people are going to be moving back into an apartment house damaged by fire today. Some people in the Eastwood guest house woke up fighting for their lives this morning. The firefighters helped people get out of the smoke-filled building, some with nothing more than a blanket on. The first and second floors got the worst of it. 38 apartments in the building altogether, and 16 people had to find another place to stay tonight. Now, anytime there's a fire, such as the one today, threatening homes or apartments of people, families, the Red Cross is there right along with the firefighters. Red Cross people helping with relief for those forced out of their homes. The priority when they get there is to get a grip on the situation.
We generally will provide housing for a maximum of 3 days, and then also we will probably be able to provide food for about 3 days to a week, and then we provide a complete set of new clothes for everyone that requires it.
And seeing as how we're in the holiday spirit, perhaps you'd like to help out. If so, call the Red Cross. Get involved. The number 425-1666. Once again, that is 425-1666. Food-filled paper bags cramming the basement of Pops Memorial Church tonight, part of its annual effort to feed the hungry. Volunteers once again loading in everything from cereal to fruit and, of course, frozen turkey and chickens, too. That food's being distributed from Hops Church, and they started doing that today. A 15-year-old boy was taken to the hospital tonight after being hit by a car in Syracuse. It happened after he got off a Central bus, the police say, walked across the street at Furman and Midland and right into the path of a car. The boy hit the windshield of the car and wound up with head and leg injuries. He's in the hospital now. No charges have been filed. Earlier tonight, a 6-year-old girl was hit by a car on Park Street in Syracuse on the north side. Long Tao, taken to St. Joseph's Hospital, where she is still under observation tonight. She was taken away in a neck brace after, again, the police say, darting out into the street after she was dropped off in front of her house. It was inside a school that more than 60 children got sick from carbon monoxide poisoning today. This is in Potwin, Kansas. Grade schoolers there taken outside. Some were revived with oxygen aboard buses. One girl headed home described how most of the kids felt.
Well, we all just started getting real bad headaches and stuff, and they just told us to go outside. And we put down hay, that's about it.
Parents of many of those kids have been complaining that their kids have been coming home lately with headaches. The carbon monoxide leak is blamed on a faulty furnace in that school in Potwin, Kansas. Some kids from Liverpool Middle School are getting what they consider now to be the chance of a lifetime. The school's concert band is putting in some overtime, getting set for its debut as the only middle school band to perform at the Concord Resort in Rochester in a week. Tonight, band members practiced and practiced. The goal is perfection. Liverpool Middle School musicians will be playing with some of the best professional and college bands from the area. And the band leader, Jim Spatafor, says the kids consider the invitation to perform, not surprisingly, a great honor. Well, Wayne's all rehearsed and all set to give us our first look at weather now. So, Wayne, take it away.
Well, John, the cold weather that we had around here about a week or so ago, well, I think that may have been just a rehearsal for what we've got coming up later on this week. For the time being, though, I think we'll do okay for another 48 hours or so, because what we've got is fair weather high pressure centered over the Ohio Valley. That's going to be moving eastward, and that'll keep any storms away from us for the next couple of days, as well as set us up into just a temporary moderating trend. My forecast then for the overnight hours tonight will average out partly cloudy, sort of chilly again, be a frosty cold night, low temperature down around 24. And then tomorrow, going to have to scrape the windshields early again, just like this morning. We'll see clouds mixed with sunshine, and we'll get up to an afternoon high of near 44 degrees. And I've got lots more details on the way, John.
Thanks, Wayne. Also coming up on Nightcast, a big award snatched away from a couple of phonies. And 2 signatures signifying a big step forward.
Hello?
I'm sorry, okay?
It won't work this time.
Look, I am freezing. Can't we talk?
I'm through talking.
Oh, come on. I'll be different this time.
Poppycock. Poppycock. Popcorn, almonds, and pecans in a rich, buttery glaze. It's one of life's sweeter moments.
Poppycock.
The most important number in automotives, 472-7821. The most important number in real estate, 472-7821. Whatever you're buying or selling, the most important number is the Scotsman Press Classified Ad Line. More than 200,000 homes, 52 weeks a year. The best numbers of any publications in central New York. 472-7821. The Scotsman Press. We're right outside your door.
Right, now pay attention. Every day till Christmas, Highland will be, shall we say, monitoring the competition. Or to be more precise, we're monitoring their prices. So, if they should attempt to go lower on any item, we'll know it straight away. And we lower ours immediately. Now, you may ask during this joyous season, is it right to engage in all this covert activity just to save you more money? Of course it is.
Highland. This Christmas, we're going to be impossible to beat.
No one should be left off your Christmas list. Not when you shop Hill's Great Values.
Fun? Style? A good deal? Is that too much to ask?
Not when you ask your Pontiac dealer, where 1991 base model Sunbirds are sticker priced less than last year's.
Show me a real good deal on a brand new Sunbird.
With cash backs, 40 new 91 Sunbird coupes are priced from just $84.64. Qualified first-time new car buyers financing with GMAC get an additional $600 cash back.
Yeah, Pontiac's the answer.
See your Central New York Performance Pontiac dealers.
Another meeting between the superpowers, this time to scale down the number of weapons in Europe and for the United States to do some persuading. Steve Handelsman has the story.
Iraq says it will send 250,000 more troops into occupied Kuwait, assuring that Saddam Hussein's forces will greatly outnumber the Americans even after the newest U.S. troop buildup. The move sends a clear message from Saddam Hussein to George Bush that he, too, is willing to back tough talk with more troops. Word of the Iraqi buildup was not the only piece of bad news for George Bush today in Paris. Despite a fresh promise of U.S. help to solve the Soviet food shortage, Mikhail Gorbachev today rejected the U.S. plan for a UN resolution authorizing the use of force against Iraq. The Kuwait crisis cast a pall over a Paris summit that could have been a celebration of the end of the Cold War. The treaty signed today by former enemies is the furthest-reaching conventional arms agreement in history. Tens of thousands of tanks, guns, and warplanes eliminated by the stroke of a pen. But on everyone's mind today was the threat of war in the Mideast.
Our success here can be neither profound nor enduring if the rule of law is shamelessly disregarded elsewhere.
U.S. commanders today finally canceled part of this mock invasion of Saudi Arabia near Kuwait. For 2 days, high wind and high waves in the Persian Gulf nearly swamped Marine Corps landing craft, and the seaborne exercise was scrubbed. Other Marines stormed ashore by helicopter, and officers said if this had been the real thing, the seaborne landing would have taken place. But while the American warriors practiced in the desert, Mikhail Gorbachev and some of the other Western leaders meeting in Paris had a message for President Bush. Give the economic sanctions more time, they say. Talk of war is premature. In Washington, this is Steve Handelsman for NBC News.
Back here in New York State, there is still disagreement in the Republican Party. Senator Al D'Amato says GOP Chairman Pat Barrett should not be made the party scapegoat in the wake of Pierre Renfré's weak run for governor. Now, last week, the Senate Majority Leader, Ralph Moreno, called for Barrett to resign. But D'Amato says all Republicans are to blame for Renfré's big loss to Cuomo in the election, and he says he will not back up Moreno's push for Barrett's removal. Now, you just had the feeling this was going to happen. The National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences has yanked that Grammy Award away from Milli Vanilli. Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan, seen here lip-syncing the song Blame It on the Rain, say they want to hand over the Grammy to the two guys who actually sang on the album, whoever they are. The Academy says it will decide who gets the award, if anybody, next month. So stay tuned in case you care. The real thing, Wayne has our weather next, a week of ups and downs. We'll see.
You're looking at the lowest priced American car, the new Dodge Shadow America, only $81.64. Or you can lease a 1991 Shadow America for as little as $165.68 a month with nothing down. For an incredibly low lease rate, you get 40 standard features like a driver's airbag, an efficient 2.2-liter engine, our famous 770 protection plan, and much more. So whether you buy or lease, your Dodge dealer has the right price for you.
See your team Dodge dealer and get the advantage. Advantage Dodge.
Dear Toro, your new CCR Powerlight snow thrower reveals a total disregard for the small businessman. A snow thrower that weighs 36 pounds, it handles a foot of snow? What happened to fair trade? Free enterprise. Be assured, if you continue to sell the new CCR Powerlight snow thrower, you leave me no choice. You will be hearing from my mom.
The Toro Powerlight snow thrower is backed by the Performance Guarantee. See your dealer for details.
If I wanted to get what I wanted out of life, I was going to go back to school.
I just always knew I'd go back to school. And I just always, always anticipated that, when would it be?
It was something that was undone, like, I hadn't finished, and I really wanted to go back to school.
And you realize all that stuff that was available for you that you didn't take advantage of is still there.
Explore your choices with an academic advisor. Call for an appointment.
Tomorrow's attractions are here today. This fall, see it first on Preview. Fashion on the fringe. Television on the edge. Music on the rise. Movies on the brink. Celebrities on the verge. Living on the crest. Breakthroughs for tomorrow.
What's new? Preview, the best of the new.
Preview, tomorrow at 4 on Channel 3.
An extra day in orbit for the Space Shuttle Atlantis and maybe more. More gusty winds kept the shuttle from landing at Edwards Air Force Base this afternoon as scheduled. And those winds are expected to give NASA trouble again tomorrow. Last we heard, the shuttle could come down at any one of 3 times during the day. So, Wayne, how's it look?
I think there could be another wind problem tomorrow. Got a little bit of a storm system out there, a lot of wind, 15, 30 miles an hour. I mean, it's certainly not a hurricane, but it's enough that you wouldn't want to. Yeah, you wouldn't want to land the shuttle on an open field like that. As far as we're concerned,
what about us?
I'm glad you asked that. Yeah.
Try to take my cues as best I can.
We haven't got too many problems. We got high pressure around. It's sort of quiet the next couple of days. Later on in the weekend, though, as we head towards the weekend after Thanksgiving, then things could get a little bit more interesting. We'll talk about that, too.
Good.
You betcha. All right. That's like we said back in Maine. You betcha. All right. Here's what we got outside right now. We're talking partly to mostly cloudy skies. We got a temperature at the freezing mark, 32, with the wind out of the west at 10. The wind chill reading is 18 degrees. Humidity now 85%. Barometer on the rise, 30.13. Our high today, not all that high at all, 37 after a frosty cold low last night at 17. Sunrise tomorrow morning is at 7:03, and the sun will set at 4:37. Well, much of the northern half of the country is a bit on the chilly side now, and that's because of where the jet stream is. And you can see where it is really cutting across the central part of the country, right out through the central plain states, and then zipping right out off the middle Atlantic coast and sort of winding back up into the Canadian Maritimes. And the jet down to the south allows some chillier air to move on down. Now, this is only seasonably chilly air, though. The real cold stuff, brutal cold, is still stuck up here in the Northwest Territories of Canada with this big upper level system, and we might see just a touch of that coming down in here by the weekend. As I say, though, we got this roller coaster ride of temperatures and weather coming up this week because of what's going to happen to the jet stream over the next several days. Watch what happens. Here we go. The ridge of mild air builds up here in the plains, and what that does is digs the trough out here in the east. More of a northwesterly flow, more cold air coming down here. By the weekend, and of course the colder it is on the northwest flow, the greater our chances are of seeing some lake effect snow. My 3 picks for the week as I stand right now, we'll say tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and again we'll look way out there and say Sunday too. Well, outside right now we're still seeing varying amounts of clouds and stars. The temperatures generally mid-20s to the lower 30s. Our Channel 3 Weather Network observer tonight is Barbara Mulvey in Fulton, and Barb tells me mostly cloudy there, and we're 32 degrees there. Elsewhere around the area now, we start out to the west. Rochester's got 30 degrees. 30 degrees also in Clyde. And the cold spots, typical. Barnes Corner's now 24. Old Forge at 22 degrees. Here's the atmosphere in motion. Here's all that storminess out there in the west. Look at all this storminess, this clouds streaming right in across southern parts of California. That's the reason they got all the wind out there. Can't land the shuttle right now. Plain State's doing pretty good, though. Out here in the northeast and northern Maine today, they had a whole variety of weather. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, the whole works. You see, we're not exactly perfectly clear out here, so we'll see some clouds around here and there. But generally speaking, we'll do okay for a couple of days because of fair weather high pressure in the Ohio Valley. That's going to drift eastward, and that'll keep any storms away from us for the time being. And the southwesterly flow behind the high will also start us into just a little bit of a moderating trend. Okay, then, here's my forecast for the overnight hours tonight. We'll average out partly cloudy. Again, it's going to be another frosty, cold night. Overnight low about 24 on the average, and you may want to get up a little bit extra early tomorrow morning because if your car is outside, you're going to have to scrape the windshield, and you may want to get it warmed up. Tomorrow, not bad. Mix of clouds and sunshine. We'll recover to a high of 44. For tomorrow night, generally clear, down to 28. And here's that very changeable roller coaster ride 6-day forecast. Wednesday, sunshine mixing with increasing clouds up to 50. And then Thanksgiving on Thursday looks like a whole lot of clouds and some showers, but up to 54. And then look what happens to the temperature Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Showers may change to some snow on Friday, John, and then Saturday, maybe some lake effect snow in here. Sunday, temperatures also down in the 30s.
I took my notes, so I'm warned.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Wayne. Sports next. Roger has a big man back in the league, but without a team. And the Soviets leaving the Dome without a win. Highlights coming up.
You know, there's just no substitute for a well-polished trade.
Indeed.
Roy, how nice to see you.
Oh.
You shouldn't have.
Do sit down.
May I offer you a cup of tea?
Why, thank you, Wendell. Listen, I do love what you've done with this place.
Yes, this fabric would look lovely in my caboose.
I must remember to pick some up.
Finger sandwiches, gentlemen?
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
This Christmas, when it came to our Hess truck, we listened to the authorities.
It should be big enough to take me to the ball.
So we made it bigger than ever.
With the quadrillion lights.
How about 37? On the front, top, even the sides.
And neat sound.
Like our air horn. And backup alert.
And it should come from the North Pole.
Via your nearby Hess station.
And it should look like $1 million.
But we've reasonably priced it at $9.99. The Hess Tanker Truck. Happy holidays from Hess.
Imagine capturing this holiday season with the innocence of your childhood, sharing those timeless family traditions, being tucked in for the night, filled with anticipation of an early morning rise in hopes of finding the gift of your dreams. Today, you can share that memory with a special gift from the Fayetteville Mall for everyone on your shopping list. Fayetteville Mall, where holiday dreams come true.
When you get a cold or an allergy,
You need some herbal tea.
you also get a lot of advice.
What you want to do is feed a cold.
A lot of advice.
Take Judy to call me in the morning.
But the best advice is what doctors have said millions of times. Take Dimetap. Dimetap in non-prescription formulas brings proven relief. So take the advice of doctors and pharmacists.
Tea work, huh?
And take Dimetap, the best advice you can take.
Coming up later on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. You've never heard Mother Goose like this.
There was a crooked man, and he wore a crooked smile. So he ran a crooked SNL and made a crooked pile.
Plus, comedian David Brenner.
An oil tanker in the East River in Manhattan split open. This oil tanker split open. They say already somewhere between 10 and 15 million gallons of oil and sludge have already seeped into the boat.
And actor Robert Loggia. Then on Late Night,
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's one of our lost episodes.
Johnny and Dave later.
Well, the real season starts in just a couple of days. Not a bad warm-up tonight.
Exhibition game against the Soviets, and if you think that I'm going to try and pronounce all these Soviet names, you got another thing coming.
So you're not?
I'd just say like Igor and Dmitri and...
Or number 9.
Alex, yeah, something like that, you know. I'm not going to make that much of a fool of myself, like I've never done that before. I'll tell you, though, the Soviets had kind of a rough trip. They played some pretty good teams in the top 20, though. They obviously pretty drained going into the final game of their series tonight against the Orangemen at the Carrier Dome. Orangemen looked pretty good. Here we go. McRae picks up the ball to Owens. Orangemen up by 10. Now on the fast break, here is Owens ahead to Autry. He goes to McRae behind. 10 points for him. 60-48 Orangemen with the lead. Soviets coach saying, come on, guys, let's get going here. I think that's what he's saying. Autry now feeding DJ, who had 18. Hits the shot and fouled. Orangemen up by 13. Good to see DJ playing well tonight. Autry now with a steal. Goes to Owens, lays it in, 23 for Owens and 13 rebounds. Now Mike Hopkins gets into the act, the assist to Ellis. Nice baseline move, the bucket, 23 points, believe that? 15 rebounds for the big guy. LaRon Ellis as the Orangemen win at 94-84, and very encouraging to see a big night for LaRon Ellis.
I don't want to have any letdowns, and whether it be defensively or offensively or in rebounding. I just want to be able to go out and do my best to contribute to this team.
I think we came out kind of flat in the first half, but I think we started playing team defense and things started turning around for us in the second half.
They're much stronger in the perimeter, so our big guys and our inside guys had a much easier game than our guards did. But I think it was a good game for us. It was a good learning experience.
By the way, if you're interested, and I know you are, John, Sergei had 27 to lead the Russians. The team leaves, the Orangemen, by the way, leave tomorrow for Hawaii for the Maui Classic, open up against Toledo on Friday. On the recruiting front, as expected, hotshot James Forrest from the Atlanta area decided to stay home today, announced that he will play ball at Georgia Tech, not Syracuse. His dad did it all before him, but today, Barry Bonds made the old man proud by winning National League Most Valuable Player honors. Bonds did it by leading the Pirates to the National League East title with a .301 batting average, 33 homers, and 114 RBI.
I did something that I told myself I was going to do. I told myself I wanted to do, and all the odds were against me.
Bonds one vote shy of being a unanimous pick. Teammate Bobby Bonilla second. Darryl Strawberry, going to the Dodgers now, was third. American League MVP is yet to come. And, you know, in order to stretch these awards out just a little bit longer, the Major Leagues announced today that they'll hold the Most Valuable Bat Boy and the Groundskeeper of the Year award until after Thanksgiving. They're going to try and string them all along up until spring training opens. Yankees, by the way, spent a few more bucks today re-signing free agent pitcher Tim Leary to a guaranteed 3-year, $6 million deal. One-time All-Pro football player Dexter Manley feels like $1 million, but has to find some place to earn it. Despite being indefinitely suspended a year ago after a third positive drug test, the NFL reinstated Manley today.
Just real thanks for the commissioner for approving my reinstatement, and basically that's the way it is.
What about the fact that...
The bad news is the Washington Redskins then waived him despite a memorable pass on the field.
Dexter's done a lot of great things for us, a lot of super plays, and I told him that Friday on the phone. I told him again today that we appreciate all those plays and all the things he's done for us.
Manley's agent's already been in touch with 5 teams who say they are all interested. NFL tonight, Raiders lead the Dolphins 14-7 in the fourth quarter. Scott Schwades, the former Orangeman, scored the only touchdown for the Dolphins. If you haven't noticed yet, the NBA has a new home this year on NBC Sports with Bob Costas and Pat Riley hosting the studio show. Costas, a Channel 3 and SU alum, was back at his school today speaking between sessions. And I talked with Bob about how his NBA role changed from play-by-play to host.
And if you hit... So we were deep in the area of play-by-play and not so deep in the area of host. So if you look at it as a jigsaw puzzle, the most obvious move was to just stick me in that slot and everything else fell together. So it was okay with me.
Luckily, none of tonight's games were on NBC. Not a lot to offer you, but we'll just show you the scores. The Sixers win against Charlotte 109-101. Utah loses in Milwaukee 114-104. Do I look like a score? I guess not. And the Lakers leading Denver 83-64 in the third. Hockey tonight, the Rangers and North Stars. And here we go with that one. Turcotte with a pass from Nichols. Rangers up 2-1. Then Prop feeds Smith from behind, and it ends at 2-2 in overtime. That's the final score now. Boston beats Toronto 5-2, and Montreal over Quebec 5-2, and I'll tell you, too, Washington beat Detroit 3-2.
And the Jeep Eagle leaves the dome. Thank you very much. Roger, still ahead on Nightcast. Taking the holiday main course to the bowling aisle.
A good car, the Honda Accord, no doubt about it. But this Plymouth Acclaim has more interior room, a larger engine, a longer powertrain warranty. It carries more people, has an airbag, and it costs $1,500 less than Accord. Now, we're not saying that the Accord is second rate, merely second best.
Now, get cashback savings or low APR financing on new 91 models.
Hi, busy moms. Today on Health Talk, it's the world's famous nutrition expert, Snoopy. With his new frozen kids meals. Snoopy's Choice from Healthy Choice. 8 main course favorites, like spaghetti, macaroni and cheese, the lowest in fat, cholesterol, and sodium. So delicious, your kids will love them. Ah! Cut to commercial!
Make a healthy choice for your kids with new Snoopy's Choice.
Jerry's Carpet's new and exciting fall styles of DuPont certified Stainmaster carpeting from $10.95 a square yard. Installed plus free pad. Come on over to Jerry's Carpets and save.
Panasonic presents a new breed of smooth operator. The new Smooth Operator rechargeable razor unites the old-fashioned closeness of a warm, wet shave with the convenience and no-nick comfort of an electric. Don't try this with any plugged-in razor. Smooth Operator wet-dry razors from Panasonic. Smoother than you ever thought you'd be.
He was the leading man who made ladies swoon. Now, 5 years after his tragic death, Rock Hudson lives as the superstar symbol for the fight to cure a deadly disease. And ex-Supreme Mary Wilson, is her famous feud finally over? All on the next Personality.
Tomorrow at 4:30 on Channel 3.
Coming up tomorrow on Channel 3 News, what's all the hassle about? Is it a family feud this Thanksgiving? And a sneak preview of Liverpool's Holiday in Lights. Now, a sneak preview of tomorrow's weather. Wayne?
Well, I think tomorrow's going to be pretty much a carbon copy of today, only we'll be able to add a few more degrees onto the temperature. A frosty cold start with a mix of clouds and sunshine, and we'll look for an afternoon high in the low to mid-40s.
On a final note tonight, maybe you'd never guess what they were doing with a turkey this Thanksgiving season. Well, they've gone bowling. Part of a radio promotion, about 25 contestants trying for strikes and spares at Green Hills Farm Market tonight. And in place of a bowling ball, a 10-pound frozen turkey. One woman found out she's not quite ready for the Pro Turkey Bowlers Tour. Yeah, it's a gutter turkey. Bowlers who got strikes got a turkey with all the fixins. Spares earned a free soda. They say this might become an annual event. So sign up and spare us. Good night.